Time now is 8:12, and the Federal Trade Commission just released a report on fraud. And it shows, and I found these numbers to be staggering, 11% of the adult population in this country, more than 25 million people, were victims of fraud. Here with anything and everything you need to know about the latest scammers is author and lawyer Shari Olefson. Thank you for joining us. 25 million adults.
Isn't it?
It makes you feel like you're next.
Well, you know, Roxanne, here's the thing. It used to be that the scammers would hang out at the corner drugstore and with their shell games or something. But now, you know, the internet has made the world a lot smaller.
So where are they?
That's the top area where they're finding folks is on the internet, and that's by email, social media, online auction sites, online ads, and then after that comes the traditional print ads and TV ads and telephone. But you know, one of the problems is that there are folks, particularly in certain countries, Nigeria, for example, is one of them, and they're targeting wealthier countries, people in wealthier countries, including the United States. So a top scam we've heard about is folks getting phone calls that someone you know is in trouble in this country and you have to keep it secret and wire me money. Or another big one, which is really sad now, is taking advantage of tragedies here with fake charities. So for example, raising money for Hurricane Sandy victims or Sandy Hook or now the Boston Marathon victims.
It is incredible.
The flip side of that, though, is that the internet makes it easier for us to track down these scammers. So if you get a call like this, you want to enter the information that they give you with keywords like scam or complaint or review and find out who these guys really are. Also, always look for a physical address. If someone calls you and there's no physical street address, forget about it.
We started getting emails one morning from one of my best friends saying I'm in trouble in Spain. I knew darn well she wasn't in Spain, but I need money. I mean, she said people were calling her, but she got hacked overnight, and it was being routed to something. It's just amazing how sneaky and how quick.
Because how could someone possibly get her name and your name and whatever, so people fall for it.
Okay, so speaking of, when I'm talking about my friend, who is targeted? What's the group of people?
Well, and here's where, you know, information we get from the FTC on reports like this can be really helpful. Folks who tend to be falling for these more often tend to be minorities, in fact, twice as often as whites, less educated folks, people who are risk takers, but also people who have recently had bad life events like an illness or a divorce, people who are struggling with debt, primarily because they're really desperate, and these scammers are taking advantage of that. So we want to remember that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
You talked about the charities. What other businesses and what other products do these scammers tend to market?
Number one is weight loss. That's actually top on the list for scams, but also these prizes and buying clubs where they try to get you to send money or send private information, internet services where they'll continue billing you, so you want to check your statements, want to make sure you're not continuing to get billed, work at home companies where they ask you to spend a lot of money on upfront inventory. So if you run into any of these, you want to report them to the FTC. It's 1-877-FTC-HELP. And try to put an end to it.
Keep the number handy because a lot of us are getting hit with it. Thank you, Shari.
Right, sure.
Let's go over to Kate for the forecast.